Hey guys, and welcome back to Fashion Meets History with Domii Davis. It's been a couple of months since I gave a full Fashion Meets History episode here on YouTube, but hopefully, with a new year starting, it'll be back to regular scheduled episodes once a week with updates based on fashion anniversaries throughout the week and fashion historical and cultural ongoings of the internet at any particular point in time. So, without further ado, let's get into the newest episode. Since it's the end of 2024, of course, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the 2025 Met Gala theme. This year's theme is titled Superfine, Tailoring Black Style. Obviously, this title has a lot of layers, so let's get into it. At the beginning of 2024, I started Fashion Meets History reviewing the book Black Designers in American Fashion. Similarly, the group that's put together the 2025 Met Gala theme is basing this off of two books that are similar in nature: Slaves to Fashion and Styling the Black Diasporic Identity. Now, I haven't read either of these two books, but they'll be on my list for 2025. But I'm sure that they mirror a lot of the references that Black designers in American fashion held. One of which being the very first tenet that Black people made fashion out of what they had. And 9 times out of 10, in the beginning of Black fashion in America, it was literal scraps. It was leftovers or Negro cloth, all of which have extensive videos. You can check them out. So it's great to see this history being represented in the Met Gala theme. Furthermore, it's great to see that two of the chairs that are helping to sponsor and issue this out are Coleman Domingo and A$AP Rocky, both of which I think have been vital, especially in the last year or even 2 or 3 years, in representing Black fashion and all of the different tenets that it can hold. The very first thing that I want to talk about in reference to the actual title of the Met Gala theme is Superfine. Obviously, we can see that this is like a play on Superfly and that whole brand and aesthetic. Superfly, to me, how I would describe it, goes with 70s blaxploitation movies. Blaxploitation era is kind of cohesive with like the Black Panther, Black Power movements of the late 60s, the 70s, and the early 80s. This kind of Black style centers on like leather, militaristic style uniforms, the berets, afros, um, gold chains, gold jewelry, gold hoops, not necessarily bamboo, but like that type of like really chunky gold accessory. And as a Black person, of course, I love this fashion aesthetic. You will very rarely, if ever, see me not wearing gold hoops. So I'm all for this. But I'm interested to see how the designers will dig deeper into this. Because with my reading of Black designers in American fashion, you really and I'm sure the other two books that I mentioned earlier that the theme is based off of, it really dives deep into the progression and the trajectory of Black fashion. So starting from point A with the scraps, where the enslaved people were wearing this fabric termed Negro cloth, which is basically not like one type of fabric, not like cotton or polyester or silk. It was like a mixture of like these fibers that were like the leftover scrappy fibers that were then put together and manufactured and made cloth that the owners would buy and put on their slaves. So going from that, and then you get the Black seamstresses and Black tailors that become skilled craftsmen as enslaved people, and they take either the scraps that they've been given by the white people that they work for, or they remodel what they have or what they can find, and they start to revolutionize and redefine what they themselves are wearing on the plantations. Then, on the flip side to that, you have free blacks or blacks that are also given scraps from their owners, but instead of changing it and recreating something else out of it that's uniquely black, they wear, or, and I hate to use this word because I don't mean it negatively, but I can't think of another word that would describe it. They assimilate into fashion norms of the day. So it would be European or white American fashion aesthetics of the day. And that's where you get the dandyism, which is referenced in the first book that Met Gala theme is based off of. And the dandyism is like, it's really interesting because they're saying that, from what I have interpreted and read and watched through like documentaries and research and stuff like that, they took the assimilation of this group of people that's being othered. And when that group assimilates into this fashion, they ostracize them for how they look in this fashion. And that is where you get dandyism. And then this personification of, or this stereotype rather, would be a better word, of dandyism then gets codified after Reconstruction, and you get the actual Jim Crow image, because that's who Jim Crow was. Jim Crow was a white man or a group of white people that did minstrel shows in blackface. And they wore the blackface and then wore these regular European style fashion choices that looked outrageous because of the blackface, and created this look of dandyism, or a dandy, right? And that's where we get Jim Crow. It's a whole thing. It's a whole rabbit hole in itself, and I could talk about it for hours. But anyway, so that's one thing, right? And so that's one thing that I'm really interested to see, where fashion designers take these looks with that type of history and background. And then going back to the first kind of image that I depicted with the tailors and the seamstresses with the learned skills, reshaping black fashion, as that keeps going, past the Civil War, past Reconstruction, and you see, and you look at that to now, 2024, on the cusp of 2025, it's truly been revolutionary what black fashion brings out and how black people shift the norms. It's one of the things that black designers in American fashion talks about is how kind of inherently black people tend to wear clothes that are loud and eccentric. And when you pick apart just different pinpoints on a timeline of periods, it is so true. It is so true. Even when I think about myself getting dressed to work in corporate America, where it is not an inherently black place, like getting dressed to go to college on Howard University's campus. Like, those are two different things. Getting dressed going Howard, you don't, or any HBCU or any inherently black space, you don't feel like you're getting dressed and like in the back of your mind that you look good, and you know that you put that shit on, but you know that other people aren't necessarily going to know that. And that's the difference. And being able to still go out and be you and be authentic to yourself and rock it and represent it, that is inherent. That's what I've gotten from this year-long road and really digging hard and deep into not just fashion history, but Black fashion and these different movements and how, like, feminism and suffragettes and women's rights and women's liberation, and looking at all of those, and then on the parallel looking at those movements for Black women and Black fashion, and how it's so completely different. And every time Black people make a choice, a distinct decision to nod to wicked, defy gravity, and really just put it on and rock it and be comfortable in who and what we are regardless. So I don't want to make this video too long, so definitely comment if you want more discussions on this, but this is just my quick little synopsis on the new Met Gala theme. Expect more to come on that, on the Met Gala theme, as well as more videos on fashion meets history, as well as sewing with Domii Davis here on the Domii Davis channel. If you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and share. You can find me on any of the social media channels in the description below. I'll see you next time. Bye.